Hello, everyone, and welcome to the table. Welcome to the Grown Folks Table. Are you all ready to have some grown folks conversation tonight?
All right.
We are ready.
Yes.
Well, my name is Elisha V. Cash, and I am the founder and president of the National Women's Empowerment Ministry. And I am also the host of the annual Red Dress Brunch, as well as the author of the Little Red Networking book.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the table. I am Joyce Littell. I am the brand manager of News and Talk 1380 WAOK, and I am the host of The Quiet Storm on V103 here in Atlanta.
Hello, and I'm Dolores Grizzle, the immediate past chapter president of the 100 Black Women Decatur DeKalb chapter.
And good evening, everyone. I'm holding up the rear today. I'm Vicki B. Turner, and I am a official chairman of the board for the DeKalb County Board of Education as of January 11th. But in addition to that, my husband and I host a monthly initiative called DeKalb Cultural Exchange, where we bring relevant issues to our community that are impacting our lives. Join us.
Well, we're so excited to be at the table, and I'm so excited to be here along with my fabulous co-hosts. Tonight, we are talking about the inauguration of Joe Biden and the true history making of the first woman and African-American woman, Vice President Kamala Harris. Okay, so we have so much. Woo!
Yeah, come on, bring it.
And y'all feel free to let us know how y'all feeling right now, because it has been a long ride. Let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about the ride and the work that it took to get us here. This is not no overnight type of happening. And I know I would like for us to celebrate for at least a week. We should just be celebratory, because for years we have been underneath this dark cloud, and we have been dreaming for this moment. And so it is negative 45 degrees right now. We are minus number 45. And if there's not anything for you guys to parade around your city about right now, I think it should. How y'all feeling about just the space that we're in?
Well, I'm just loving it. I would tell you, I had a ticket to go to the inauguration, actually. And I had got my ticket back in, I think, November, and a group of us were going. We were all excited about it, but I had ears to the ground up there in Washington. And so when I got a call about, just how things were going up there, this is long before January 6th. But we were all excited, had our tickets, had our villa down on the wharf. I mean, we were ready for a good time. So I was a little disappointed about that. And it's just funny how things come to you, because we had no idea what January 6th, had no idea all that was going to transpire. But when we decided to cancel, mainly because COVID, the numbers started increasing with COVID. And so, I said the fact that Joe Biden, how he felt about masks and trying to get a handle on this, I said, I'm thinking he might shut that city down. And I thought inauguration would be virtual and everything. So we kind of just pulled back on going for that reason. But I tell you, I woke up that morning, and just that entire day for me, it was such a historic moment. It was, you felt just this hope. You just felt just happy. Whatever was bothering you, you didn't anything bother you on that day? I think we just all enjoyed it. I was seeing something we had seen in a very, very long time. This unification, just this hope that we're going to come together. Everything is possible. And the most incredible thing for me was Joe Biden's in his speech, because he spoke of unity. And I really hope that we would see that on both sides of the aisle. It's going to be very, very important. It was just a compelling speech, and just full of heart. He was just such a heartfelt speech. And so I really hope that we all will begin. I hope it resonates with everyone.
Yeah.
And not all, but hopefully some, because there's going to take a lot. He's going to need a lot of support. The infrastructure, he got to work on that. And I'm thinking prayer, support, and all of the people who've been behind him. But yes, you talking feeling wonderful and good. That's why I'm rocking my purple. I've always been a person that rocked my pearls. So you all know I've been rocking my pearls 20 years. So. But you may see all my pictures I have on pearls. But I'm just so excited. And the ladies were beautiful. They were just beautiful. I'm going to get out the way and let you all talk because I know it was exciting for you all as much as it was for me.
Well, I'm going to chime in before Joyce, rock the AKA thing. But I just thought, it's one of those days that it felt like it was just good. It's like, Dolores, you woke up feeling good. You woke up with anticipation, and I was not disappointed. I even enjoyed the fact that our Donald Trump left quietly. I like that. It was no pomp, no circumstance, just move on over. And it was a good feeling. And it's a lot we could weigh in on, but I'm just telling you, I am a bona fide groupie of Amanda Gorman. That sister girl. She took it over the top for me. I've always had an affinity towards Joe Biden. I liked him when he served with President Obama. And so I've always been a fan of Joe Biden and his wife. Such an educator. I feel like our public education system will benefit from having her in our White House, and the collaboration and the partnerships that we will benefit. And we're going to need it from this COVID space. But it was, I slept good. I hate that I couldn't be at a ball, but we went to the Democrats ball here, right? And so I was asking my husband, I said, Rob, do we put on gowns and tuxedos, in the virtual space? That was funny. One lady on the call, she was dressed, not, head to toe in formal attire, but it was nice to see how the Georgia was celebrating last night. And so it's a wonderful day to be an American.
Yes.
Well, I'm still on a high. I'm with Alicia. I think we need to just celebrate, for a week, or even longer, because of how long, 4 years that we had to wait on this moment and all that we had to endure in the process. And so to know that, the change has come, and it has come in such a mighty way, just got me on this high. I'm just on this high. And to see us, in such a powerful space. I'm sure you all saw when our former first lady walked out.
See, you're trying to steal my thunder, because
I'm sorry. I'll let you have it, but I just had to give a little taste of that.
Yeah. No. It's fine. Go right ahead, Joyce.
But and to see, our now Madam Vice President, and oh yes, Asura, to make history as the first woman, and then as the first Black Asian woman. It was just a great feeling. And then to see on social media how so many of us sisters rocked our pearls and our chucks. I had a problem deciding which color I was gonna put on. It was just that exciting. And even my 88-year-old mother had on her Savannah State t-shirt with her pearls. And I was like, Mama, you got on some chucks. She said, I don't have any of those. But anyway, it was just an exciting day. And to be in the communication business, to be the brand manager of a news and talk station, and to have the ear of so many people to mold, what that day was, other than when we had to talk about, January 6th. It was just a good feeling to talk about such exciting things. And my poet laureate, that sister was so bad. She was just so bad. So it was
Yeah.
just a good day. I'm still grinning. I'm still smiling. I'm
Yes.
still cheesing
Yeah.
after it. And to be a Black woman right about now to help us know that we stand in our own ways sometimes, and that
Yes.
we have to keep dreaming. We have to keep dreaming and pouring that into our young women to
Yes.
let them know you are seeing examples. You are
Yes.
seeing examples right in front of your face right
Mhm.
now. And
Yeah.
so I'm just glad, to be in the space, to be able to
Mhm.
talk about it, smile about it, be joyful about it,
Mhm.
and to say we got change coming, and we
Yes.
just got to keep doing what we're doing. We can't let our guards down. We can't stop on this journey. We just got to keep moving.
Yes.
Well, one of the things I'm kind of, you all may have to help me if you're watching. You may have to help me walk through this feeling. I'm almost feeling as if just a little bit that the victory, the fact that Kamala Harris is the first vice president and that she's a woman, African American, it's not as celebrated as I would like it to be. It's almost as just a tad bit, you know, watered down just a little bit. And I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that, well, I hear that some people say, well, when Barack Obama got office, I mean, it was the shirts with his face on it. It was the bags with his face on it. I mean, it was the parade. Now, granted, it could just be that we're in a pandemic. It could
Mhm.
just be
Mhm. Mhm.
that. But it's almost as if I know in the spirit of women, and we've been posting and we've been rocking our pearls and our chucks because we're celebrating her. But it's almost as if we have to continue to push and celebrate, the ceiling that she came through, because if we're waiting for other people to celebrate her a certain kind of way, we may not get that. And so, I mean, talk to me. What do you think about that? Do you think is it just COVID, or no one's feeling that same
Mhm.
way?
I
I
think it.
think
I
it
think it
is.
was COVID. I think
I think
COVID
it's
had a
COVID
lot to.
too.
Yeah.
COVID had a
Mhm.
lot to do with it.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't do hardly any of the stuff that they would have normally done
Yes.
Yes.
because of COVID. But
Yes.
I think even with her, and even with Obama, he was the president. And so
Mhm.
you didn't see a whole lot of Biden at the time. You saw
That's right.
Obama.
Mhm.
I think I got 3 T-shirts with him on it.
Mhm.
I think we as supporters of her and being gracious and thankful that she has made it is going to be the ones to keep her in the light.
Mhm.
And
Right.
and I think some of the news outlets did a pretty decent job on it. I mean, when
Mhm.
CNN did the documentary on her last
Yes.
Sunday. I
Yes.
think that was a very good documentary
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
her, and they've
Mhm.
replayed it since. So I
Yes.
But
think
I want more. I just want more.
you're just greedy now. You're just greedy.
I know. I just want more.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think for me is I just don't think it's never been done. I mean, she's done something that's never been done before. Like, no woman, no matter what creed, what color, what nationality, no woman has ever made it to this level before. And if you look across the different countries, they all have women leadership. They all have women leadership in some perspective. But the U.S. is just now getting on board with embracing women in certain
Mhm.
leadership roles. And so I guess, I just want to see African Americans, white women, Asian women, all women just
You
like,
know what, Pastor E, I do believe that the COVID space cannot be ignored.
okay.
But there's not a person that I've not encountered by either in the social media environment, on the phone. Everybody, every woman, this woman is celebrated. I don't believe it's been
Yes, I
downplayed.
think she's
I mean,
celebrated. Yeah.
women are crying over the possibilities of what they can become now.
Yes.
The media, I feel like she's, we can always probably find something that they could do a little bit better. But right now, as a race of people, and from and she's multicultural, and by what is she's African American, I think maybe Jamaican descent, and then something else, South Asian. So she's a melting pot within herself, and all of those cultures are celebrating this woman.
Yeah.
And so, regardless of how fair her skin is, I celebrate. She looks like me. She looks like me.
That's what my
I think
t-shirt
Joyce
says.
on.
That's what my t-shirt says.
That's what she looks like me too.
Hello.
And I think, and I don't know, this is the woman in leadership in me. This is the women's empowerment in me. This is just, the big celebratory in me just want to continue to make sure that that we celebrate her in so many assets. And not only that, continue to make sure that we let people know. The conversation is there, is easily there for women, that we can break this glass ceilings. Like she broke so many barriers, especially when it comes to leadership roles and organizations. And so my hope is that having Kamala Harris in office allow us to reflect more about the biases now that we've chose to select her as our leader. That the biases that are in leadership, the biases that come with about women not being able to lead. And so to me, I think her being there for women is just so empowering to me. I see the comments coming in that Libya said COVID affects the celebrate. Hey, Libby.
Hey, Libby.
COVID affects the celebratory efforts. Keisha says it's the pandemic that has limited our celebration. We are home and cannot get out and celebrate like we want to. That's true. We will see a lot of her going forward because of her historic win. That's what Libby says. And then she said Twitter. Look at the Twitter.
Straight broke.
Internet. Okay. And so
you know what, Alicia? What? I think she has to do what she has to do in her office and the position that she holds. But I think she's going to be like Michelle Obama.
Yes.
Michelle Obama was Obama's wife, but Michelle Obama became Michelle Obama over the 8 years that they were there.
Yes.
And I feel like and we just kept loving her even more. We like, oh my God, we love this woman.
Yep.
We will do the same thing for Kamala because she gonna do what she needs to do in that office.
Yes.
So I think that will progress. I'm going to forever call her name and respect, the works that she's done to get her where she is.
Yes.
But it all not going to come in this day, in this moment. It's going to be a continuous build because of what she have said she is going to do. And but I think she's recognized all over the country for her efforts, and nobody is going to let that die. Nobody's going to do that.
Now keep in mind, and I love this. Probably one of the first things that President Biden did after being sworn in is he got to the business of dealing with this pandemic, right?
Yes. Yes.
Keep in mind that as happy as we are, as elated as we are as women, over 400,000 people have died. And so we're trying to stop that right here. And so they had to hit the road running. They had to, and I'm like Joyce, I always respected Michelle Obama, but I even grew more every time she did something, every time she did an initiative, picked up an initiative, every time she was out there, boots on the ground. My love and my respect for her grew to such a degree that it could never be dimmed by anything. And so I think that we will grow more and more in love with our vice president. And I loved something she said, her mother said to her. She said, you may be the first, but make sure you're not the last to accomplish things. Make sure you're not the last. And that's a powerful statement that a mother could share with a daughter. And I think she won't be the last. I think she's the beginning.
And I think too, the fact, she's been branded with the pearls and chucks. And when you're in that type of position, the vice president always just play behind the president. It is what it is. That's in all arenas on every level, down to when I was president, the vice president just plays behind the president. It's all about the president. So I think that's probably what we're seeing, and the people in Washington is just the way everything's structured. And so they don't change their structure. They're just so bent on the way things are. But I think with her brand, I think with the women behind her, because it's the women that brought that party and helped that party to win. It was the women. And so I think with the women behind, the women are not going to forget. We're going to keep her name out there. I think she is going to come into her own, and she will have her own space. She will have her own identity, although she is playing behind the president, but she has that seat at the table. And that is what we love now, knowing that she is there. She looks like us, and she will be there to talk for us, because we do need that voice. And she's there, so we can sleep good at night now, because we know there's hope. We know there's change coming. And so I know I feel good. I'm just smiling all yesterday. It's just an unbelievable feeling. I think when I saw that plane leave for Florida, I was like, bye, boy. Bye, boy.
Right.
But did you see that?
I'm just excited, ladies. I'm just excited. That's
yeah. You can't help but to be excited. And honestly, everywhere you went, I ran out to Ingles yesterday because we just eating vegetables, and I needed some right quick. And when I walked into Ingles, it was several ladies and people in there. And we were all smiling, like you could just see the smile on their faces. And everybody had on pearls, everybody had on chucks. And I mean, it was just a great feeling to be out amongst a community of people who respected the moment like we did.
Yes.
And I know the fire is not going to go out. It's just not going to go out.
Yes.
What about the kids? I thought it was beautiful. All these young kids with the chucks and pearls.
Yeah.
Did you see a lot of that?
Yes, I did.
That was
and
beautiful.
Said she's gonna end up having her own Converse brand. I believe it.
I played high school basketball, and that's what we played in my year. High school. Before the Jordans, before Jordans and all that. Yeah, that's what they played in, Converse.
Well, Dolores, listen, because we're about there neck and neck.
I know.
But my brother wanted, you have to save your money for the Converse, right? Before they were called Chucks, they were Converse, right? And so they were only $19.99. But that was a lot of money back then.
Yes,
so
it was.
My mother would buy what was called the brand was called Buddies. And my brother was saying, I want a Converse. It's too expensive.
Vicky, I feel you. I understand. I remember my brother used to tell me a story like that. And see, he was a lot older, but when I came along, we were able to get me a pair.
Well, do you all think this is opening up for opportunities for more black women running for office? I mean, Vicky, you're in an office, and we all have circles where people have run for office. Do you think more women will run for office? More black women?
I do believe that fire has been ignited, and it's been taking place for quite some time. What I'm amazed at is that we are still in this 21st century in 2021 experiencing first. You understand? Like, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you heard about first, but we are still in the first, so that means to me, it's still a lot of ground that we need to lay. It's still, and unless we reach back, because one of the things, somebody showed today a slide, and it was I was telling you earlier, we did a retreat, and one of the slides had from the inauguration, it had slide of Garth Brooks, and Garth Brooks was singing Amazing Grace. That appealed to the senior generation, right? But for the younger generation, Lady Gaga, and he showed that. and how the bridging of that gap between the generations, even in the inauguration. But I think we have to do that for those who we need to teach our daughters. You've got to speak that over Kennedy's life, of that.
Yes.
It's not just growing up to be a housewife, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a housewife if that's your desire. But we've limited. I wasn't taught that I could, the ceiling was there for me. Keep going, keep going. My parents just taught me to get a job, pay your bills, and maybe buy a house, marry, that kind of thing. But they kept it about right here. And then they were comfortable in that generation. But I think it's upon us. It's incumbent upon us to reach back to the generation of the daughters behind us. That little girl, I go back to the poet laureate. Mm-hmm. That is not a sign of the hope of our future.
Yes.
We produce after that young lady. I'm like, and her mother is a single mother who raised 2 daughters by herself. And the girl is at Harvard University and kicking butt and taking names.
And she said she's going to run in 2036.
Yes, I heard Hillary told her she can't wait to see her run for president.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll still be here.
yes. If we're still here, Dolores, I feel you, boo.
Well, I know we talked about a little bit about Michelle Obama and how she stepped up in the place. I mean, when she came through the door, I just have to talk about the attire, because of course I paid close attention to all the details. And honey, she was so laid with the mask on and the curls and that. What color was that? What color are they?
Wine color.
Oh,
yeah, violet.
Everybody's looking for a wine coat. Everybody's looking for a wine coat and the high-waisted pants
with the belt.
With the belt. I was like, boo, come through.
she blew up the internet. I mean,
yes,
she shut it down when she got out of the car.
Yes.
all you saw was Michelle. It's like there's an inauguration going on.
Right, exactly.
But when she stepped out of that car,
yes.
I'm here.
She's a showstopper.
And I think Libby is saying that it was a Black designer that designed her.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we on the map. We doing some things. Yes. We doing something. Mm. And I give it to Dr. Jill. I did like her teal suit, and
I did too.
It was very nice.
Yes, and then the mask and I'm all about the gloves. She had the gloves.
Pretty.
I'm not a gloves girl. I'm not a gloves girl.
I'm not a gloves either.
I'm not a gloves girl.
The only thing she was missing was a hat. If she had a little,
No. You're taking it too far, boo. Come back.
She killed it. I mean,
she did.
Yes, she did. Yes,
very nice.
Yeah. Yes, she did. All the ladies look so nice. And so I saw one of the comments. Someone said that they would like for the media to stop putting Kamala Harris in the same wavelength as the other first ladies. Like they want us to totally separate her. And because it's her first role, it's the first time we've had a woman in this role. I believe it's just going to take us some time to make an adjustment to make that separation. It's almost as if, like, for example, I serve as pastor and first lady. And so call me pastor. First lady is fine sometimes, but I am licensed and ordained. Call me. But you understand, like, and if for some people that haven't had a female pastor before, it may be uncomfortable. So no, we've never had a female VP before. So we're just having to do that bold separation. That there is a difference, that she's not serving as a first lady by all means. She is definitely the VP.
She's the first VP, yes. And people will get used to it because that is what her title is, and the correct title, because I know in all organizations, even in our organization, it's mandatory you call the officers by their names. Immediate pads, or first president, Madam First Vice President, Madam Second VP. So I think everybody will get used to it. Everything takes a little time, but everybody will definitely call her and put her in the right perspective. She is our first vice president of these United States. Yes, she is.
Were you all impressed? I was with Pence and his wife. I think they did the right thing, and it looked like there was a proper passing of the torch from Pence to Vice President Harris. It seemed they were very personable. It made me feel good. Considering how his boss, if you will, had chosen to manage. Now, I did hear today on a quick sidebar. I did hear that Donald Trump left a gracious and kind note.
Boy, I know
exactly
where you were going.
I want to see it. I want to see what it say.
But Biden said it was gracious and kind.
Well, here's the thing. I am going to have to disagree with you, Vicki. Mike Pence, being there, he's just there for all show. I'm not impressed by his presence. I'm not at all. And he didn't need to pass nothing off to Kamala because he was son Kamala before this whole moment until they wanted to hang him just last week. And I'm not son Pence. I'm not. I just can't do any of that. And the letter, I can't tell you what Libby said. The letter probably said,
we know what Libby is.
Well, I thought like Libby. I thought the letter probably said the infamous words, right? But when my president came and said it was gracious and it was kind, then I have received it as such.
I just don't believe it. I think Biden was just trying to be, nice and go on and shut that little space down and move on. And me too. I'm with you, Pastor E. Forget Pence.
Right.
Y'all so mean.
Y'all so mean. He's a politician. He's a politician.
They've been mean for 4 years. Forget him. Forget him. Yeah,
he plays the game well. He plays the game well.
You tell me he changed in 1 week? No, he did not change in 1 week.
He had no other choice. He had no other choice to act right that moment.
Yes.
Y'all so mean. Y'all so mean.
Yeah. He's trying to run in 2024. That's all that is.
This is true.
Man, forget you.
See, he had an opportunity to do something about this man a long time ago. So I'm with you. No, we don't want to hear Pence. You're just trying to do the right thing. You just playing the game right now.
And then Vice President Kamala's husband was standing up there. He was looking at him. You try something if you want to.
Right.
Yeah, remember how do you remember how her husband went for that guy who came to her on that day? I think you got a point, Joyce.
Hello.
That husband.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
No, bye. Right.
Bye.
But
bye.
I really think that this is the time, and you guys tell me what you think about this, that the work really begins now. I know President Joe Biden, he set the tone by meeting with when he's sworn in his cabinet members and by telling them, okay, the work is now here and laying out his plan, talking about the 100 days of mask wearing and things like that. So I know he's definitely set the tone, but I think also for us, the people that have voted for, as we turn the state of Georgia blue, so we have 2 seats that are there, but also it's our time as voters to hold people accountable. So for all the plans and everything that we want, that we need to make sure that we do that. But talk about how do we do that? What does accountability look like, Vicki? How do we hold elected officials accountable for the things that they said they were going to do when they got in office?
Well, you stay engaged. Typically, we may go to the polls, and that may be the last time you show up for 4 years. You understand? You must stay engaged as a stakeholder. You call your senators, you call your representatives, you request for those town halls, because I've read that some people never have them. They never have discussions with their stakeholders, but you engage them. I think we as a people, we tend to, and I hate being as candid as I am, we tend to be real good hell raisers. And so we'll get on Fox 5, we'll get on the news and raise some hell about it. But what do you do in between? I think we can hold our elected officials accountable by staying fully engaged and being aware of the issues, right? I don't think we're not just look for a handout. I'm not just looking for a box of food. And I understand we're dealing with food insecurity in our communities all over the country. But I don't want just a box of food. I want you to enable me to work. I want you to present me with some jobs, some opportunities, and some training programs. That's the kind of thing we have to say and share with our elected officials. We must stay engaged. It doesn't go away just because we turned them blue and we had a big party. That the work begins, just like you said, right now. So we wake up every day with a desire to go and change our world. We don't wait just on them, but this is a collaboration, I believe. I think it's a collaboration.
Well, go ahead. Want me to go?
Well, let me ask, and I want you to answer this for me, Lois. Okay. In the African American community, there's a lot of talk about the Obama administration and how we didn't push, as African Americans, we didn't push the Obama administration, as much, and that we should have learned from that. So, Delois, speak to me about that. How do you feel about us making sure that we push Kamala for the initiatives and everyone else that we have elected, as well as Biden, for the things that African Americans need?
Well, this is what I can tell you. Kamala is a friend of the 100. And so I do know that we'll probably have Kamala on some more calls. We had her on calls, before I think she was even announced for the VP. But I think even in all our positions and whatever we could do, we can begin to reach out and have these elected officials. And again, as Vicki was saying, hold them accountable, have these calls, have these town halls. I know we do it as the 100. We kick off in January. So we'll be doing a legislative call January. I think it's the 20. I think it's in February. I'm sorry. But we will be having at least 20 other legislators that we'll be talking about our issues in health, education, and economic empowerment. And we'll sit down with them on a Zoom call and we will talk about those issues. And I really hate the fact we won't be going to Washington because of COVID, because we will have opportunities to go and sit down with those senators as well. Well, hopefully next year we'll get a chance to do that. And hopefully I get a chance to meet her. But I think that's what we have to do. We have to, and there's opportunity, and there are people that can help you get into them. You may not get to them, but there are other people, because we have people in Washington who works in the White House, who works in the Capitol, works with the mayor. And so we have those resources that gives us scheduled appointments. So I think it's very, very important we continue to do that, have those meetings with them, because they really listen, but they have to know that, they're not going to reach out to you. But we have to reach out to them, and we find that it's working. And I think the fact that she is, like I said, a friend of the 100, I don't think she will forget us or let us down. And I think if we continue to reach out to her, I think she will be on our calls. And when that happens, I'll surely let you all know.
Yeah, I mean, I ditto everything that Dolores and Vicki has said, and I think what we also have power is through our social media. If something isn't moving in the direction that we need it to move, then we have that outlet instantly. And believe me, people in their positions have eyes on what the country is saying, what the community is saying. But we have to be engaging. I mean, that is the biggest thing. We used our voice to vote. Now we got to use our voice to say why we voted you in there. And we can't keep our mouths closed. We cannot do it. We can't sit among some friends and say, you know what? I thought such and such. You have to actually let that resonate among others and among the people who are going to help get it to where it needs to be. So so we won't feel like, our work was disrespected when we went to the polls. And I think in this day and time, they got to know that. They got to know that they can be murdered on social media. You know what I'm saying? They could be killed right there. And so I just wouldn't run that risk, an elected official, to know that I asked these people to support me. Now I'm in this office, and now I got to do the work that they expect me to do, and we have to stay on top of
You
that.
do.
Yes.
You do.
We
Yes.
constantly have to stay on top of that. We have to know what's going on and how we play a part in it on the local, state, and on the national level.
You know
And you have
what?
to
And I
write
want,
them a lot too.
yeah,
We
and
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Dolores. I just wanted to
Go
weigh in
ahead.
on, I'm sorry, the question he asked as well about did we stay on Barack Obama? Did we place demands on him? And I hate using the word demands, but expectation.
Yes.
And because you have to look at things from a more holistic view. Barack Obama was coming against a system, and the Senate was not supporting him. The Congress was not supporting him, and so I commend the work he did. Was there work still to be done? As somebody would say to me, "You dang Skippy, right? There's still work to be done." But he was coming against systemic racism that played out in initiatives that he tried to carry. They shut him down at the pass. We saw it in real time. I will never discount the work he did. I will never discount that he became the first African American man to occupy the highest office in the land. But I know it was a hard lift. It was a heavy lift. And that thing became more prevalent and more pronounced with our last president, because he gave permission for it to come out full throttle. Show who you are. Don't hide it anymore. Don't hide behind robes. Don't hide behind meetings. But if I think that Barack Obama did the best. I'm sure he's been in a contemplative state. You have to be having occupied that office on things he could have done even more. But he came against a system that made it very difficult for him to advance the cause of African American and underserved people. But I still
I agree to a certain extent on that, Vicky. And then there's another part of me that says that we we have not because we ask not, and I don't think that we put enough. We could have put more pressure, or I don't like you said, I don't want to necessarily use the word pressure or demands, but almost hold him accountable because we were voters and there were things that we needed. Yes, he was the president of all people, but at the same time, there were other groups that got their initiatives taken care of, that when at the end of his presidency, they were taken care of. Okay. And then so for African Americans, now we are empowered by what we learn and what we are exposed to. And we learn from that particular presidency to write out our plan, to be consistent with our asks, to keep coming back to the table to say, no, this is what our asks are. This is what we're looking for. We did not do that with that presidency. But I think African Americans this time around, they are looking for more representation, for people that look like them in office, for people that look like them in positions, and for some of the things that we have gone lacking for years. And so we this next new generation, they want more. They want more. And I think that is going to be the difference maker in Biden and Harris administration.
So it goes back to what we're saying. People can't just sit on the sideline and not do anything. Okay, so they went to the poll. So what do? I went to the poll, but what I do? No, I'm writing letters. I'm calling. I try to get meetings. So I'm not just one of those who vote and say, I just let it by the wayside. No, we're holding them accountable.
Yes.
And that's what I do. That's what advocacy is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what the 100 does. Is what I love about that organization. Not saying anything about any other organization, because we do mobilize. So we have worked with all the sororities and everybody to do this big push with them. But I think that is the most crucial. So now that's what we have to do. We have to come together and say, okay, what are our next steps? What are we going to do within our organizations? But yes, you must mobilize. You got to call them. You must write them, and you continue to stay on them. Get meetings with them. They will sit down with you. When we go to Washington, I'm sure I can't say about other people, but other groups, but I do know you can get in there and get meetings with them. So I can't wait for the COVID to be over, because that's what you want to talk to those senators up there. And so,
well, you know what? Let me just do a little side, a little poke here. It seems like we've mentioned that 100 quite a bit tonight.
I just have to put it out there because we're advocates.
They're my best friends. Some of my best friends are 100s, but Delta Sigma Theta is
So
known.
I thought I wasn't anything. We are mobilized now.
I can't sit down on my people.
Well, let me just throw mine in. Don't
AKA.
Don't forget, Madam Vice President is an AKA. I just want to share that. But
I want to share that she wore purple in honor of Shirley Chisholm, who is a Delta Sigma. I just have to say that.
But no, we all work together. We do.
I wish Libby was here, because I love to hear her talk when she's sitting at the table with us. But she's talking about what we're saying. I think Obama being the first, Black man to be in that office was the challenge from the get-go, from the beginning.
Yes.
And then, like she's saying, and like we all know, the power was not balanced then. Mm-hmm. And I think with the challenges that he had for those 8 years is what she said, and I was thinking before she wrote it, is what set the groundwork for us to do what we are doing now. And I think things are just going to be different now because of the groundwork that he set, the foolishness that one that's gone, brought. And now people are like, look, we have this power. We have this power to help, balance this. And so that's why we got out. That's why, my sons, all of his friends were like, we had to vote, because of what we knew he faced.
Yes.
And now we have the choice.
I just still disagree. I do. I think if we learned from that experience. I do say
that's what we're saying.
But I'm saying we learned because at the end of the day, when we walked away, we achieved having an African American president in office, which was great. But we as an African American people did not walk away with some of the other people walked away with. Take, for example, we definitely learned from Trump administration how he went in and he was able to put all those judges in place and he just did whatever he wanted to do. But it just showed he did what he wanted to do.
Because when it was time for them to vote, they had the majority.
But let me back out.
We now have the majority, and we have Madam Vice President Kamala to come in there and say, okay, this is the way it's going to be, because she has the final say. He didn't have the majority for all
That's right.
But we had to learn from the experience of mobilizing, because if African Americans want all the things that we have on our nice list to go forth, because that has been more transparent. This has been a most transparent race, because again, the suppression of the 4 years of President Trump, we were like, oh no, we see where this headed, no more. We got to get him out of office. When I say it was mobilization, strategization, all grassroots organizations on the ground, the funding that we had, I mean, the energy to push past this moment. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, that was not there in between Obama and Hillary. I mean, it was not there. It wasn't there. I'm saying that we have learned a whole lot from it. And just like we're going to hold this particular administration accountable for some things that we asked at the beginning. I kept talking when we had D on, what is the African American community? What are their wants? What is it that we want to walk away with when this administration is over with? And I want to see those things come in fruition after this administration.
I think it's going to be huge for him now with jobs because, past president, don't want to say his name, but he's left this place worse than we can possibly imagine. I don't think we really even know the severity of what he has done. And I think when all that comes out, and just in my experience over the years, I just found it always difficult when Democratic presidents come in after Republicans. It's always been 4 years of trying to clean up their mess before you can even work your agenda. So it's going to be difficult for this president. He has an aggressive agenda, but it's going to take a lot. It's just going to take a lot. I know he want to get through a lot. I know COVID is top on the list. I know he signed executive orders. But it's just going to take a lot, and I'm totally with you on the agreement. And maybe that could have been what happened after the Obama administration. Is why this other fool got in, because you heard a lot of people talking different. I've heard a lot of conversations too, and when I was just speaking, and I know Vicky said I speak about the 100. It's not I'm speaking about the 100. I'm speaking about what I'm doing. I can't talk for other people and what other people want to do, but I like to speak on what Dolores does and what Dolores.
And you know what? I'm joking with you.
Gets off this call, because it's important. But it's work. I mean, it's work. I mean, it's no fun. I mean, I have no fun ahead of me. Because I take what we do seriously. I take this election seriously. I take my vote that I went and cast seriously. And so, yes, we're going to hold these people accountable. And I hear everything E is saying, and we don't want to fall in that pit, but it's going to take work. It's really going to take a lot of trying to be in constant communications with them. I think it's the fact that she is in office now. I think that's a huge plus for us. I really think she's going to really work. I think she's going to really work. And I think we'll probably really see a lot of her work. I think she's not going to let the American people down. I think she has done some phenomenal work just before when she even come to this point. So I'm really just trusting in her and the president that we're going to really see something different and the change that we've been talking about.
Well, tonight's conversation has been so fun, and I know it's almost close to an end, but I want to ask this question. So, if you had the opportunity to go to the inauguration this year, what color coat would you have worn? Tell me, what would you have? Would you have rocked your Chucks, Dolores, or what color would you have worn? So I have been thinking, so I'll go first because I do love gloves. I think I would have done all cream because I love winter white. And I may have just done a hint of red. And yes, I would have sported a red winter hat.
Well, since I was going, I already had my attire and everything together. My daughter had bought me a white coat, so I had my white coat. I have plenty of hats, so I had my fur hats, all that, because it's cold up in DC. And so, gonna rock the mink, all those wonderful things, because I like to dress up. And so this was an opportunity. We were gonna dress up. We were gonna be looking good. So I had everything. Now, you all would laugh at me. Do I have Chucks today? No. But I probably pull out all my designer boots, and I had those ready. So that's what I had ready. A lot of white. I was wearing white and black, and that's what I love, black. So those were my colors.
Yeah.
White
See,
and
I would have rocked some black too. I like black and white. And the evening tuxedo coat that Madam First Vice President had on that evening,
Uh-huh.
that was me. You know what I'm saying?
what color was it,
yeah,
Joyce?
yeah,
Black.
it was black. It was black.
Okay.
It was when the during the evening program with the fireworks and everything. I
Yes.
think we were in Bible study, so I caught it later. But I love black, and I would have had to have on me a fedora. I would have had to
Yes.
fall up in there with that hat. So
Yes.
I would have had on this bad black jacket with a pantsuit like First Lady Michelle had, and then everything would have been black, and then I would have had that fedora on with a white band around. I wouldn't have spoke to nobody.
Just walk on by. Walk on by, girl.
I wouldn't.
I like hats.
I've been too cool to speak, but
I like hats a lot. I do. And I have been looking for a new hat, and I just found one with a black brim and everything, but underneath is red. And so I just showed it to my husband. I said, it's time for a new hat. It's kind of like a fedora, but a little step ahead. But I'm a black person, Joyce, for lots of reasons, a lot of good reasons. I like it slenderizes me. It presents me best. And I would have just had all black on. I would have had a long black coat, kind of like, they had on, and no gloves, absolutely no gloves. But I wouldn't have did Chucks, because vanity makes me wear heels, even if I have to tip and sit.
Oh my God.
In my heels, and then sit down. I love heels. I just can't wear them as long as I used to. So it's a nice dream to have, Pastor E. What would we have looked like if we had been in Washington? Perhaps maybe one day we'll go.
Yes, we shall go. We shall go. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Please don't forget to subscribe to all of our podcasts. We're on all podcast platforms. If you have not subscribed to our Facebook page, please make sure that you do that. We would love for you to pull up to the table every time we go live. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a wonderful, wonderful good evening. Good night.
good night,
Good
everybody.
night. Good night. Stay safe, everybody.